Welcome to Learn to Live Stress-Free. This is Christine Wright with Dr. Robert Wright, Jr., your go-to wellness coaches of www.stressfreenow.info. Our featured guest today is Mark Sadovnick, discussing strategies for success that minimize your stress. Mark Sadovnick is CEO and founder of Sadovnick Partners, and through acquisition, now Managing Director of Stanton Chase, under which name the executive search practice will be conducted. Mark has built a reputation for looking beyond the mechanics of search, with a proven ability to support the objectives of both the individual as well as management and executives, including the company's decision makers. Mark works to attract the best and mutual right fit, helping companies achieve their goals and align on the same mission, matching opportunity with best-in-class talent. Mark authentically walks the talk by ensuring the right fit and covers the full spectrum of the search process: human, philosophical, intellectual, technical, and so much more. Mark was recognized by Businessweek as one of the 150 most influential search consultants in the world. He gained business and international awareness from his experiences with Deloitte in Canada and JC's International. Mark proactively introduces and recommends clients and strategic partners to each other for mutual benefit of all resources. He is a pioneer of video branding expertise to support the ability to differentiate as an individual and company towards a successful search for everyone involved in the process. Mark sits on the boards of and has strategic synergies with World Language Communications, Verdi Exchange Institute, Vet Tech Brigade, and Corp Shorts Video, and is the founder and chairman of Talentorium Alliance, bringing the expertise, resources, knowledge, and relationships to his clients and strategic partners. Mark has been active with the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce, the LA Economic Development Corporation, and the Beacon Council in Miami. Assisting veterans in job search and business startups is a current cause for which he continues to secure collaborating partners. He has also been active in the Miami and Fort Lauderdale Chambers of Commerce and takes stock in children. He is a chartered accountant graduating from McGill University in Montreal. Mark is most proud of his 3 sons, and when given a chance, will certainly tell you about them. Audience, welcome. Mark, hi. Thanks for being on the show today.
Oh, my pleasure. Good to be here.
Good morning, Mark, and thank you. And audience, you are in for a treat. Mark is going to share his wisdom on so many things with us today. So, Mark, to start us off, I want to let our audience know that Businessweek have recognized you as one of the top 150 search consultants worldwide. Could you please share your story with our audience of how you came to found Sadovnick Partners and now the new acquisition you've made also?
Well, how much time do we have for that question, Bob? That's a long one. Let's see. Well, you know, my background was with Deloitte. I was in audit and tax and valuation. I got recruited to be the executive director of a global leadership development organization headquartered in Coral Gables, Florida. And I've always never really wanted to be in accounting and finance per se, but I was good at it, understood it. But I always liked working with people. And I always loved talking to our clients about their business and then meeting leaders around the world in business and government and whatnot. When I got approached by an individual, we were put together actually by an Ernst & Young partner to, get into the executive search business. Seemed like a perfect match. I could engage with business people and leaders. I could BS with them as well, which I don't mind doing, and really work with them and help them. So had an initial first firm with a partner for about 23 years, which we grew significantly, and I then went more national and international, and we had some different strategies after about over 20 years together. So he actually bought me out of our first firm, which did very well, and then I started our second firm, which took a lot of marketing to determine to call it Sadovnick Partners, and that's where we went to. And just kidding about that last one. And it's been fantastic because we always focus on our why, which is one thing I love. And I'll backtrack a little bit. Recently, we just finalized the acquisition of Stanton Chase International out of Los Angeles. Me and a partner, and from another individual who's also going to be our partner and is a co-founder of Stanton Chase International, the whole organization. And so it was perfect timing to do that. And our whole mantra, our whole quote-unquote why is to make a difference with management and make a difference with their business. And then secondly, make a difference with the candidates that we're talking with, and for that matter, even their family. And my background at Deloitte, my background at international with leaders, I've always found that that's the foundation of any successful business and any successful person or leader. And if you can do that for them, then the rest follows. The results, and the opportunities follow. So that's a long answer to your short question, Bob.
Yeah, great, Mark. It's pretty clear to me and to our audience that you have a very, very full schedule, and it's very fast-paced and with many, many high-level interactions and dealings. Mark, could you share with our listeners what practices you use to maintain your equilibrium? Because, stress, keeping a handle on your stress, however you do it, is key to, performing really well over a long period of time.
Well, we were just joking about that this week. I had 4 conferences in 2 weeks, and we were joking, saying that about once every 3-4 months, I tell myself I should have been a veterinarian because I get tired of talking to people, type of thing. So it's could use a few when I get home and get the welcome from my dogs. That helps the equilibrium right there. That's one part. Hanging out with my boys, my kids, helps. We're actually getting ready to go on a guys trip, which we do once a year, that ensures and commits that we're together minimally, all together, the 3 of us, at least once a year. But more day to day, it's 2 things really. It goes back to really, really loving making a difference in one way or another with the people that we work with, and really genuinely and authentically wanting to know about them and what they do and why they do it, because they're fascinating. I mean, we talk to senior level executives of major businesses, and we talk to young, unbelievable, visionary entrepreneurs that are doing great things. It's the best. It's the best thing for equilibrium, because it shows you perspectives that you can that are amazing. And I learned a long time ago when I was traveling a lot internationally, and my favorite word in the dictionary became awareness. And it works well for sports too, because you always got to be aware of what's going on when you don't have the ball or the puck in hockey or whatnot to get to that point. And but it's more importantly, it's an awareness of other people and where they're coming from, in their opinions, where they're coming from in their background, what turns them on. That actually maintains the equilibrium maybe more than anything, because I don't have to be on all the time. I just have to be with them, and that becomes a stress release and reliever in itself. The other thing I do is play hockey, so I like to skate like crazy and hit somebody and shoot the puck and stuff like that.
Oh, you're a Wayne Gretzky guy, I see. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I should only be as good as Wayne Gretzky. Right.
Okay.
But, no,
well, I shouldn't mention years ago that my, I'm from New York, so my favorite player was Barry Beck. So.
Yeah, big fellow, Barry. I learned how to skate very fast so I can get away from guys like Barry Beck, basically.
Excellent strategy.
Well, Mark, I just want to say this. I actually want to thank you so very much for mentioning that your dogs, and you mentioned your kids. Often, Christine and I, sometimes we look at each other and, we could be talking to someone for hours or over a long periods of time, and they never mention their family life. You wouldn't know whether they're married, single, have cats. And so I want to thank you for that, because I believe in terms of, from a qualitative standpoint, at the end of the day, when we're taking our last breaths, I don't know if we will be saying, I should have put a T on that contract. Is that what we're going to be thinking about? I think we will be thinking about the relationships, the people, and the situations that it gave us meaning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, there's plenty there's plenty of those, and I get them every day. And I was just at I said 4 conferences the last 2 weeks, and a lot of them were international related, and which is one of my biggest loves because of what other people bring to the table, and it never ceases to amaze me what what's out there. So you're right, all that sets the tone, and if you don't have that heart and soul, really deep why, for whatever you're doing, you're just going to get burnt out. You're just going to get burnt out anyways, because then it becomes, quote unquote, truly a job. And, we all need to make money. I want to make money. I'm money motivated as much as anybody, but it won't happen health-wise or any otherwise. It won't happen because you don't have the bigger reason behind it of what you're doing and enjoying the people you're doing it with.
Mark, thank you so much. I'm completely enjoying listening to you. What I'm hearing in your answer and in your conversation and the tone of your voice is your passion. You are coming across with a strong love and enthusiasm for what you do. And if you're doing work that you love and that has meaning and purpose, that's, a huge part of the equation. Taking time with your family, noticing your pets. Bob and I are all for that because we love spending quality time with each other, and that's so important to our day. Mark, one of the things that I marvel at is with your level of busyness and activities through the day, the people you're talking to, the people you're dealing with, what are your strategies for prioritizing and using your time wisely? Because you're packing in a lot all the time, it seems to me.
Yeah, and I'm only 5'7" too. I don't want to do this. It's always an adventure. There's no doubt about it in prioritizing important things. So the number one priority always is again, aside from my kids and whatnot, the number one priority always is whatever a client needs. Basically, you got to focus on your clients and you got to focus on their business. That is from a business perspective, that is the number one thing. Everything else takes second priority. Obviously, health is the number one priority. I've been using a lot of my mom's quotes these days. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'm using them for some reason. And if as long as we have our health, we've got everything. Remember that one? And
I think that's a classic.
It's a winner. And I was joking around this conference yesterday about what family members used to say. My grandfather always used to say, why do I want to hang around with the older people? I want to hang out with the young people that are doing stuff all the time and making things happen, and and so on. So that does become a priority. You want to be around people that are proactive and doing things, and that's a priority. If I ever find myself, which I have, either in my home office or office all day and I haven't gone out, it's not good. First of all, I'm going nuts, and secondly, it's all about engaging with other people. It's not about emails, and it's not about all that stuff. And now, with respect to that, that's part of life these days, and there's a million emails and people copying you in emails, and it's gotten way out of hand. And so you try to prioritize, and I try to force myself, if I can, not to answer and click on all those emails until, unfortunately, sometimes even on a Saturday morning or whenever, some other time. But it's not a guaranteed success that happens all the time, because again, if a client emails you or there's an important thing that comes up that you have to take it, it means you do have to be aware of what's going on in your emails. So you try to prioritize that as much as possible. But the biggest priority is always what's going on with your clients. Again, business-wise, what's going on with your clients, and how can you support them, assist them, make a difference? I had a call a few weeks ago of an executive said something happened with one of their kids, and they had relocated to another city, and the mom had called the dad and whatnot, and there was something wrong with the kid's teeth, and then they asked me, please, do you know a dentist that we could call? And because he didn't know who else to call, basically, or she didn't know. So, you know what? We know a dentist. We found a dentist. That doesn't happen every day, but it's also not rocket science. If you take care of people, number one, it's the right thing to do, and number two, it comes back.
I like that. It works, and that comes in handy because I know many times some of the clients that I work with, they get stuck because they think everything has to be done first, but every now and then you have to sequence and know what comes first.
Yeah, otherwise, you're going to be swamped. And these days, everybody's so busy, they're actually answering emails. They might be lying in bed with the book beside them and answering emails at the same time at 10, 11, 12 midnight. And with international right now, I mean, just in the last 2 weeks, I've been on the phone with China and with London and with Brussels for things we're doing with our partners. And so, you can work 24/7 if you want to, but it's probably not a good idea.
No, it's not a good idea. And on that note, let's take a short break. Audience, we'll be back in a moment with our guest, Mark Sadovnick, on Learn to Live Stress-Free.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Wright, Jr., the Stress Relief Doctor, co-host of the Learn to Live Stress-Free podcast series. I'm an author, speaker, and stress management wellness coach. My published study is the first to show the connection between stress reduction, grief recovery, nitric oxide spiking, and the relaxation response. And my practical application of this knowledge helps you relieve the stresses of everyday life. I have the tools to dissolve your pain points quickly and effectively. Email me to find out how you can start to feel better now at stressfreenow.info/contact. That's stressfreenow.info/contact. Have you been procrastinating about completing an important project or pursuing a treasured dream? Christine Wright specializes in helping her coaching clients to lay out clear, elegant strategies. She shows you how to quickly build your confidence to uncover and eliminate your habitual patterns of resistance and self-sabotage. Christine helps you discover those meaningful insights that will get you to do what works so you can celebrate your successes. Go to stressfreenow.info/contact to let Christine know that you're ready to live your ideal life now. Again, that's stressfreenow.info/contact.
Welcome back to Learn to Live Stress-Free. We're speaking with our featured guest today, Mark Sadovnick of Sadovnick Partners in Stanton Chase.
Mark, before the break, I was thinking about something that I saw on your website. On your website, you indicate that your company specializes in helping high-achieving individuals and companies find the right fit so that they get to the win-win in a synergistic way. Can you explain to our listeners what that means within the corporate hiring context?
I'll try my best. Well, first of all, let me just clarify. We have two organizations right now. With the acquisition of Stanton Chase here in Los Angeles, we're going to be conducting all our executive search under that name, and it's something that was really important to me and for our clients because we're able to offer resources and expertise literally way more than we were before globally, and that fits into the answer to this question. And Sadovnick Partners will continue definitely as a high-level consulting firm supporting Stanton Chase in the sense of what we do is board advisory work. We do a lot of special consulting projects and other consulting projects. We have a leadership series that we do video interviews of entrepreneurs and executives to get to know them and what their story is and how they're making a difference in the world and things of that nature, which is also of value to our clients and relationships. And that all ties into what you're talking about, right fit. We have researchers, we have recruiters, we have certainly partners like myself that some specialize in different practices and some more general. But at the end of the day, we can always find qualifications. When you're talking management, senior management executives, and even board of directors, the differentiator becomes is this individual the right fit for management? And for that matter, is management the right fit for the individual? It does go both ways. And right fit means a lot of things. I had a client, again, ask me the other day, well, how do you decide? How do you really know if the person's truly a leader? Well, there's obviously things like accomplishments they've had. There's executive assessments that we can do for clients to determine it, and so on and so forth. But one of the best things to know about a leader is how do they think, and how do they derive things, how do they come to conclusions. And I'm sure a lot of people remember, your arithmetic or math teacher in elementary school would always at least drive me and my friends crazy, saying, I know you know the answer, but you need to show your work. And we would say, why do we have to show the work? We got the answer. And we thought it was different reasons, like, just wanted to make us work more for it, or see if we've done any mistakes there, or whatever, or if we were cheating, and we just knew the answer like that. One of those. But really, what happens there that's brilliant is, in showing your work, you are showing how you derive things, how you think, how your methodology of thinking to get to that answer is. So that is a big determination of how you do come to the conclusion of who is a leader, which is, again, part of what you're looking for in Right Fit. What is their mindset? What is their attitude? If it's a startup company, the Right Fit can't be somebody that has never gotten their hands dirty and worked in a huge corporation and has a huge staff, for example. The Right Fit in a startup is you're willing to get your own coffee, take out the garbage, whatever it takes, and you can think fast and you can pivot and keep your eye on the goal. So it's really important, and probably the most important, that you determine and use all the resources and tools and just an instinct and intuition as to who's the right fit also. And it's all how they answer questions. The most important thing to remember about all this is that people don't join companies. They join people. And companies don't hire people. People hire other people. And so if they're not the right fit for each other, if they can't engage with each other and discuss, if they can't show that they're able to have trust evolve between them, so they can have straightforward, transparent, authentic discussions and come to conclusions that's what's best for the company without anybody taking it personally. That's where that's the biggest differentiator for any senior level person in a company. And the last thing I'd want to say is it also has to be the right fit for the candidate's family. If the spouse or partner is not happy for whatever reason, whether it's they move to a different city and they're not happy, or I had a situation once, not to go too long an answer, where it was a Spanish company from Spain that wanted to find a leader for the general management and sales of their netting products. They had netting for onions and vegetables and things like that, and they ended up evolving into doing the fishnet stockings, if you remember those, with that netting.
Of course, I remember those.
Which is interesting. And but he was from a major media company, and he thought it was a great opportunity to take on this position, leadership role, international company, made more money, et cetera, et cetera. But his spouse was a little bit upset because she was used to telling his friends that he was an executive with a media company, and now he's an executive with a company that does netting for onions and vegetables. So, that might have not have been the right fit based on if the spouse isn't happy or the partner's not happy, it's also not going to be the right fit. So it goes all the way around. And at the end of the day, it's always about people. It's always about people, and that's what makes the difference in making the right decision.
Well, Mark, when I was listening to you, I really had a strong sense of how much hockey and sports play as a metaphor in your analysis. And here's what I mean. When you were talking, the visual I had was I thought of myself being at my first hockey game at Madison Square Garden, and we were very fortunate. We got some seats that were right behind the photographers, right down next to the glass. And I had never even sat that close in a basketball game. So there I am in a hockey game with some clients, and that was the first time that I had an awareness of how fast they skate in hockey. And when people get slammed up against the boards, that I said, oh my gosh, people just from watching television, you have no idea how fast these guys are moving, the velocity. And so my point is that when you're talking, I was thinking in terms of leadership, et cetera, that it's really important to know what game is being played, like the difference between a person that's used to playing wiffle ball or tennis is very different from somebody playing soccer or hockey or lacrosse. And so the speed of the game, et cetera. And so I was thinking as a metaphor in terms of when you were saying good fit, is that would be an aspect of that you could really tell that, people are used to playing a fast-paced sport or they're playing a slow game, and that's very different.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing we do, if I can sneak it in here, is I might have mentioned my favorite word in the dictionary is awareness, and I do compare sports a lot to business, and you have an awareness of what's going on the field or on the ice. And I had a coach that taught me a long time ago, coach and teacher, about visualization. And when we talk to candidates, in fact, we just did this with an individual we're looking to bring onto our firm. Before they accept the job, we should talk to them about visualization. And in fact, kids I've coached in hockey for years, they'd always come back to me and say, when they see me, they say, I know, coach, the V word, visualization, because I would drum it into them too about being prepared and, for the game or for even writing an exam, et cetera. But we actually have even executives, we tell them to go home, think about it, et cetera, but to visualize themselves getting up in the morning, driving to their new office, walking into the building, sitting down in their actual office, going for the coffee, on the phone, talking to their boss, doing this and that. To really visualize themselves being there, you're working at what they're doing, running around, and if it's a startup or corporate meetings, if it's a bigger company, or doing calls, visualize all the stuff you're going to do. And in 30 years, there's been two people, most of the people saying, yeah, I really do want it. Because remember, the courtship and the dating when someone wants you is fun, but when you get married, you got to do laundry and pay bills also. It's got to be fun and real when you're doing everything. Anybody can have a great attitude during all the happy stuff, but you got to prepare for all of it. And in 30 years, I've had two people come back to me and say, man, am I glad you made me really visualize that, because there's no way I want to go through this again. I don't even want that job anymore. I don't want to play that game. I don't want to do that. And it's great to know at that point, because they realize it's not the right fit anymore for them. And although some recruiters would say, yeah, but that means you have to do more work and find the right person. That's ridiculous. The most important thing is it wouldn't have worked out as well for both sides. It wouldn't have been the right fit. So you do really help our client that way, which is management, and the individual, by not putting them in a situation that really wasn't right. Even though everything looked right, but they really got to feel it.
Well, Mark, I have to tell you, I am so glad that you brought up this issue of visualization, and so that's an area that, special guided mental imagery is something near and dear to my heart. But I just want to throw this piece in, since you're a hockey man. One of the things that had fascinated me in sports was Wayne Gretzky's ability to almost score at will. If you remember how he was just amazing, just to watch this guy. And I remember watching a game where he had scored 5 goals and he had 3 assists. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And I think one was a hat trick or something like that. And so I was trying to understand, what's the neuropsychology of it? How does he do that? So part of the thing, when I dug down, I was reading an interview where Wayne Gretzky said that he had the ability to visualize where the puck was going to be. So his level of anticipation. So he was 2 to 3 seconds ahead of the other people. So he wasn't looking at where the puck was, but where it's going to be. And I think that is a key thing in terms of what you're saying, leadership or business skill set, that people have, some people have a much higher level of foresight and insight than other people.
Yeah, and some of it obviously comes from experience, but some of it comes from preparation in thinking about it, and visualization is a whole other level where you really truly feel yourself there. For example, in coaching the kids, I would actually tell them in the dressing room, standing up, as they're walking, feel their skates, feel their feet in their skates, and feel the cold air when they get out of the dressing room, and they can feel the ice, and when they're pushing and the face-off, and they hit the puck and they're skating fast down the ice, and they see the teammate beside them, and they're looking over there, and they can feel the puck on their stick. Finally, and the goalie's coming out at them, and this player's coming to them, and they lift their stick, and they push, and they feel that their stick hit the puck, and it's going, and they're watching, and they see it go under the glove, and they see the net burst out, they see the red light go on, and they're jumping up in the air, and they scored a goal, and they did it. And by the time, and the kids would tell me, they already played the game before they even got on the ice, basically. Right. And they knew it. And same thing with Gretzky. He had an awareness of, he had to get to a point because the puck will go there. But he already had been there before the game. He'd been there several times because he knew how to do it. And he had an awareness of where things were going to go. Same thing in business. Things evolve. Trust evolves. Decisions change. People change their minds and whatnot. Biggest thing you have to have is an awareness of who you're engaging with. What might have happened to them in the morning. Maybe they had an argument. Maybe they're coming at you for a certain reason. Maybe their culture has them work a certain way, which you should be aware of. All sorts of things like that. Maybe they just traveled in. I was just at a conference where a lot of people came from Israel, and they were some of them were tired. And so you got to be aware of everything going on and respect people for that. And and that way you will score. You will score goals that way, and whatever win means for you, you'll have more chance of winning.
Mark, I'm really enjoying this. As I listened to you talking about awareness and movement, the thing that flagged into my mind was the work of Dr. Moshe Feldenkrais of awareness through movement.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of what I do in my work of ideokinesis is using imagery to change your neuromuscular patterns. So I just think this comes into such a beautiful full circle that to visualize, you have to have the thought and the vision coincide with the action. It precedes it. Part of the work that you do, you have developed this Talentorium Alliance, and our listeners, some may be aware of it and some may not. Could you tell how this benefits individuals and companies when they're part of your Talentorium? You've just got such a great series of interviews.
Yeah, well, Talentorium it's kind of young right now. It's basically started out as an alliance of some key relationships we have, and it'll eventually grow. We haven't actually had enough time to really grow it, but it's experts, resources, under the tutelage, if you will, of the name Talentorium, and the leadership series is actually, which we're also, we actually have linked on to Talentorium, and right now there's the gallery of all the leadership interviews is on Sadovnick Partners, and is going to be overlapped with Stanton Chase as well. It's the same premise, and it all actually started years ago. I was on the board of a global video production company. I've always loved videos, and I'd have at the beginning I had some executives said, well, why don't you just interview me, and we can use that, and it kind of grew. It's nowhere near TED Talks, obviously, but I always loved TED Talks too. And we decided to do, video interviews of clients, of, some really smart people out there, relationships, etc. And some of them are people that are well known, like the founder of Atari and Chuck E. Cheese, Nolan Bushnell, or Walter O'Brien, who they even did a TV show after called Scorpion, who's an amazing guy, to way more people that people wouldn't know. Young entrepreneurs like a gal at Palo Alto that invented and created a polymer that's going to replace plastic and things like that. And, some clean tech, people, executives that are doing things. And we were just at a cybersecurity conference yesterday, and some of the things that's coming out of there would blow your mind, and on and on and on. And we don't only ask them to tell about their story and their business, which we do talk about, but we talk about things like who's been an influencer in their lives, what are they doing to make a difference in the world, etc. And because it is, again, about people. So our whole premise of when we started Talentorium, and even more so the relationship now with Sadovnick Partners and Stanton Chase, and overall what we do is bringing knowledge to the table, bringing expertise, bringing resources. It helps people. We get people that see the videos and call us or email us saying, could you introduce us to Joe or Jane? We really love what they do, and we could probably use it. So bringing resources like that is valuable. It's exciting. It's good for business because, you are who you associate with, not just by perception, but what you learn from them. And so all that does make a difference for all of us.
Great, Mark. As we wind down on the show, can you just basically just give a quick sketch based on your experience? What are the key markers and traits for someone who's well suited for the type of executive work that you have been experiencing in getting people. And I believe our audience would really want to know, are these key traits and skill sets learnable?
Traits with respect to the management and executive positions we're filling for clients, or are you talking about the executive search business?
The former.
Okay. It's funny. Yesterday we were talking about leadership, and I remember years ago Office Depot did a satirical, whatever you want to call it, type of commercial. I don't remember what they called the character, but they said not Jeffrey, that's the Toys R Us guy, whatever his name was. They said he's a leader because he's a tall person. They
I like that. I'm going out to get higher heels.
Yeah, so he looks like a leader. He's the type of leader, and I know some, and I know people of all ethnics and ethnicities, and there's different types of leaders, and I don't think there's a 100% right way of doing anything. I remember the Dolphins going through coaches in Miami, and one year they had a coach who was more quiet, and he would, be positive with his players and whatnot, but he wouldn't be yelling at the ref and umpire or whatever. People would say, we need somebody with a lot more energy. So they end up firing that guy. They bring in a guy that's yelling all the time and this and that, and they still didn't win. Oh, maybe we need somebody a little less lower key, type of deal. And there's no 100% way of doing things. I think the best leaders are the ones that give the credit to the people working with them, and potentially even take blame, even if it's not theirs. Most importantly, they empower the people in their organization, the people that they work with, their vendors, their strategic alliances, their investors. They empower other people. They don't act and don't need to know everything. We have like presidential elections, and we have CEOs out there and whatnot. I think it's ludicrous that people think that the person should know everything from, I remember when they asked one of the presidents, does he know what a bottle of milk costs or a carton of milk costs in the grocery store? Well, I'm sure he hasn't done that for a long time. So, and if they don't answer the question right, they're not with the people. A great leader doesn't know everything. A great leader knows how to empower and evoke trust within the company, invoke participation, contribution, and use the expertise of people to bring value to the organization and to what they want to achieve. And in doing that, the leader can really act more authentically and make less mistakes because they don't have to know everything. And at the same time, by using the resources and expertise of everybody in their company, from the production guy and the welder or whatever in the factory to the head of marketing to whatever, use them in a positive way to bring their expertise to the table. And at the same token, those people feel great because they are a part of it. They are contributing, to the company. The other thing I'd say is, leader does have to be great at getting consensus, but he or she also has to be confident enough to make a decision. You can't be getting consensus all the time because you'll probably never get 100% consensus. And if you're constantly getting consensus, the only thing that will be consensus is nothing's getting done. So you do need a leader does have to lead and get the confidence of people in an organization or country or whatever, that they'll make a decision, and they'll make the decision based on all the information. Literally, they will use all the information and contribution given by everybody that's engaged in it, but they still will make the decision. And then everybody buys in, like a sports team, to win the championship. I had a leader tell me as a last note, he was the senior level in a NHL hockey franchise. He said, Mark, every year we want to win the championship. That's our goal. We want to win the championship, but we know how hard it's going to be. As great as we'll be, those things will happen. We won't necessarily win the championship every year, but that is our goal every year. Our mandate 100% is that we have a winning season every year. And that means from the usher in the arena to the secretary of the owner of the team to the players to everybody being on the same page and engaged with each other and working together. And that applies to that applies to business too. Winning season is, positive financial results for a company, positive employee morale, and good relationships with customers, and constantly becoming better and better, improved at what you do. Some years you'll win the championship, but you always want a winning season, he said, and I thought that was brilliant, and I think all that does define a good leader.
Great, Mark. What you said was so beautiful, because the visual I had in my mind while you were talking was the TV show Undercover Boss, when the CEO goes out, or I think there was even a case where I think the last one I saw was the CEO, president of White Castle, and then I saw another one where it was actually the mayor of Cincinnati, and the things that they discovered by going out and using active listening. It was mind-boggling in each of those cases. So I want to thank you for that, because you laid that out very, very clearly. And, though the results that they get when they, as you said, become true leaders, it empowers other people, and it results in amazing transformative results that benefits, the organization, the individuals, and the wider community. So, Mark, I want to thank you for being our featured guest today.
No, it's really been my pleasure. Let's do it again sometime.
Very definitely. Mark, before we close the show, would you share with our listeners the best way that they can learn more about what you do or get in touch with you?
Sure. I was gonna put some humor in there. I said, well, just call me.
That's a song, right? Call me.
I guess. You don't want me singing it. No, certainly the best ways are either mark.sadovnick@stantonchase.com or mark@sadovnickpartners.com. You can email me directly or go on both those websites, and happy to talk to great, exciting, proactive, enthusiastic people.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mark. So listeners, you can get in touch with Mark at either of his websites and just email him there. That's Sadovnick, SADOVNICKPARTNERS.com, SadovnickPartners.com, or Stanton Chase, STANTONCHASE.com. Thank you so much, Mark.
My pleasure.
Great. So, Mark, what final thoughts or key idea would you like our audience to take away from today's broadcast?
That hockey is a great sport.
I love it. Thank you so much for your being with us today, and thank you, audience, for listening. Wherever you are and whatever time zone you're in right now, we certainly appreciate your presence, and we trust that you'll benefit in some way from the information that we delivered during today's podcast show. We welcome and look forward to receiving your comments about our show. Please let us know if there are additional topics you'd like to see us cover, or a guest you enjoyed so much that you'd like us to invite them back. Please contact us through our website with your feedback and suggestions. Remember, listeners, if you'd like to experience the same benefits our coaching clients get with us, including learning how to get more results in your day and easy ways to dissolve your chronic pain, stress, and anxiety, then give us a call at 954-900-2179. Mention that you heard our Stress Free Now podcast show, and you'll receive a free gift from us. Call or email us today to schedule your appointment. For Christine Wright, this is Dr. Robert Wright, Jr. of www.stressfreenow.info. Until next time, be safe and be well.